modules or the some particular functionality, it is added at the PHP server. Okay, so as soon as incoming request comes, okay, based on the request, the process Apache server is going to respond. Okay, so what is the operation it is requested? Based on that, there will be either a different process is created for the incoming request or thread may be created. Okay, so accordingly, it is going to process that request and there will be a response at the end. Okay, you can just observe there is a response. So the request is coming to the server and it is processed with different modules. You can just observe here each module can decline serving a request accept, or it can decline the request, or it can accept the request. Okay, so in case even deny of the request from server by the other module. Okay, so depending on the request, sometime if you give the wrong address, okay, what happens, you will be that request goes to the server and it will find that address, it is available, the URL whatever you are requested. If it is not available, okay, it will deny to respond to that request. So because of that, you will get a message that the page cannot be found, such type of information. And here there is one module you can just observe here. So mod PHP 5. Okay. So mod PHP 5, this module that interfaces with the PHP environment. Okay. It is going to act as an interface to connect PHP part and also to the web server. So this part we'll discuss in detail. What is this extension layer for PHP and ZNG. So now this, whenever the request comes, so how Apache server is going to handle? Okay. So I think this one you have learned in operating system what is thread, what is multi-process. So you will understand better what is the advantage of each of these methods. I am not going to explain in detail about these things. So you people, you just understand what is the advantage. Okay, so what is the advantage of going for multi-process? Okay, and what is the advantage or disadvantage of going for multi-thread? Okay, any one of these method is used for handling the request. Okay, so we'll just go in brief about these two methods. So how Apache is going to handle the request. So one is using multi-process. Okay, it is also called pre-forked. Another one it is called as multi-threaded. Okay, it is also called worker. So here, what is the default installation of Apache runs using multi-process mode? Okay, by default it will be having the multi-process. Okay, how to create multi-process? Somebody is unmuted. Mute yourself. Okay, your default installation is multi-process. So what happens if it is multi-process? Okay, so you can just observe. This is two part. Consider. So this is how the Apache is going to create multi-process based on number of requests, and this is with respect to multi-thread. Okay, so thread is also called a lightweight process. So you should be knowing what are the advantage and disadvantage. If anybody knows quickly, you can answer for this. What is the use of going for multi-process or multi-thread, which is the best one, and why? Okay, and how process is going to be created here, multi-process. So here you're going to use a function called fork. Okay, using fork you can create the process. Okay, the copy of the process can be created. So here forking is time intensive. That is, Apache will process to handle that. No, so it is going to create a pool of process and it will be waiting. So those pool of process, or process is going to wait if any request comes. So if as soon as if any request comes, so that particular process is taken and it is going to assign the okay, it is going to assign the process to handle that request. Okay, so that is a procedure used in case of multi-process. Okay, it is not like if it is intensive, time intensive, in case if it is like it is going to create the process and assign the request, it will take a lot of time. So that is one advantage of this multi-process. It will just keep pool of process as and when the request comes, each process is assigned to that particular request to handle. And also here, what is the main advantage of going for multi-process is, so here the process is insulated from other process. Okay, it is not going to like interact or uh, communicate with other process, or there is no interaction between these process. Okay, whatever the action it is performing, the other process cannot interfere here. So that is one advantage, how each process is going to be insulated from the other process. Okay, so here if in case if any problem happens here, it is not going to affect the execution of this particular process. So that is one advantage of going for multi-process. Okay, so next another method is going for multi-thread. So in multi-thread, what happens, a small number of Apache process are forked. Okay, so each of process runs multiple thread. So you can just see here, as of now, if you're considering this box as a process, so each process can create a multiple thread. Okay, so you can see this is one process and it is running 4 threads, and each thread can handle individual request. And why we need to go for threading? So thread is lightweight process. What is the meaning of lightweight process? What is the meaning of lightweight process? Just recall, you learned the Unix operating system and also the general operating system. You should be able to differentiate multi-process and thread. Okay, so here what happens with respect to thread, a thread uses less memory than the process. Okay, so whatever the memory it is allocated, it is shared by the thread, and also whatever the code, okay, some of the information, it is going to share the thread is going to share the memory and the code that is allocated or used by the process. Okay, so because of all these things, we are going to tell thread is a lightweight process. It does not require to allocate a separate memory. Okay, as in case of process, it is done multi-process. So it is going to share the memory and the code. So that is one advantage of this. And among these two, which one is better? Okay, so here creation of number of process maybe goes to some limitation, because each process it requires its own code to be run, and also it requires its own memory to be allocated. Okay, so scaling is going to be difficult in this. So using multi-thread, so scaling can be performed. Okay, so as the number of requests are increasing, that can be done efficiently using multi-thread. Is it clear? So you just have a difference between what happens if you are going for multi-process and if you are going for multi-thread. That is the important thing you need to remember in this. So next we'll move on to the PHP internals. Okay. So in the previous diagram I have shown that Apache Web Server, what are the modules it runs. So, and also here there is one particular module that will be acting as an interface. Okay. So now how these, what are the modules or what are the layers are there in case of PHP. Okay. So we'll just focus on to PHP internals, how PHP program get runs. So which language they have used to implement this PHP? Can somebody tell? Using which language PHP software is implemented?
C
Any
language.
idea? C should, yes, very good. So PHP is written using C programming. Even Apache Web Server also I told it is using C programming. So you, from this you need to understand that like C is not outdated. Okay, most of the system programming, okay, it is written using C language. So that is a fundamental language everyone should know. Okay, even if you are learning any other languages, either Python, Java, so you should not forget about the C programming. Okay, so now this PHP internal contains mainly three modules. Okay, so one is PHP core, then extension layer, then Zend engine. Okay, so these are the main layers. So, and what are the functions it is going to happen in each of these layers? So, in the core module, okay, core module defines the main features of PHP environment, including, okay, main features of PHP environment, including essential functions for handling arrays, strings, class, maths, okay, and other any features whatever you're going to use for writing a program. So all that it is supported by this module, core module. PHP core module is going to perform all these operations. Okay, whatever the code you're going to write next in the few class, you will be able to write the PHP code. So here I'm just still talking about the CO3. Okay, so that is course outcome 3, that is module 3, where you're going to focus on server side scripting. Okay, so still we have not yet moved to the fourth module or fourth outcome. And here I've given knowledge level 5, so that means I want everyone to and should able to write small programs using this language. So that is the ultimate goal of this learning. Okay, so next the second layer is extension layer. So this module defines functions for interacting with the service outside the PHP. Okay, so this module defines functions for interacting with the services outside the PHP. So that includes libraries for MySQL, FTP, SOAP, web services, and XML processing, and among other modules or other operations. Okay, so these are the main operations that is taken care by the extension layer. Just remember what are the services this layer is going to provide. The basic operation, whatever the program you are going to write, so that is completely taken care by the PHP core. Okay, some advanced functionalities with respect to database libraries, okay, it is taken care by the extension layer. So next we have third module, that is called Zend engine. So Zend engine, so this module handles the reading of a requested PHP file. Okay, so this is not going to perform any particular operation, it is just doing something like handling the request. Okay, so whenever if the request comes, so if it is requesting a PHP file, so that is compiled it, executed it. So compiling and execution of that PHP file is taken care by this Zend engine, and we are going to discuss this how this engine is going to work. And your Zend engine is a virtual machine analogous to Java virtual machine, that is JVM, and that is in case of Java. So JVM, how JVM you are going to use in Java. Similarly, so for PHP we are going to use the Zend engine. So where it is going to be taking care of processing of PHP file, compiling and executing. And also if you are using .NET framework, okay, I don't know if anybody aware of this programming. So .NET framework, so there we have the module called Common Language Runtime. Okay, so this is similar to JVM, but it is for .NET framework. So in the same manner, here PHP is also Zend engine also going to perform. You can just observe. So is it diagram is visible clearly? Yes, is it visible? So I'll just explain in brief what happens, how you program. Okay, this is very important. It can be asked in the exam. Explain how Zend engine works. So here you just quickly, no need to write all this vehicle, all those things. Okay, it is just for understanding purpose. They have given all this notations. You can just write it as simple boxes and you can explain. Okay, So here what is the first step happens? So PHP code documents are fetched. That is the first step. The request is going to, so the request comes for the PHP file execution. So that is the first step. PHP code documents are fetched from the server storage and fed into Zend engine for execution. Okay, fetching the file and give to the engine for execution. Okay, PHP code document. So consider this is a PHP document you are getting. Okay, so that is the first step. So now once PHP file is received to this engine, Zend engine, what happens? So now this engine should start processing those whatever the code it is written in that PHP file. Okay, so for that there is a module called Lexer. Okay, so there is a module called Lexer. So what is the function of this Lexer is converts the human readable PHP code into machine digestible tokens. Okay, whatever the code you are going to write, the human understandable code using this tag, okay, where you will be writing and it is ended with a question mark and this tag. Okay, so now whatever the code you have written so that you can understand but the machine cannot understand. So now each of these statements should be converted. Okay, so whatever you have written it should be converted into the machine understandable tokens. Tokens means your whatever the statement it is written, it is going to split each of the words into tokens. Okay, whatever the statement it is written, it is going to split all the words in the form of tokens. So that is the second step taken care by the Lexer. I think there is one subject called compiler design. Maybe you people are not going to study that. Maybe the computer science student they are going to study. So that subject teaches like how exactly the processing is done when you give a program. Okay, how it will process that. So it is not like directly your whatever the statement you have written here directly converted into one particular code. No, so there are so many steps it has to go through to convert this human readable statement into machine executable statement. Okay, so some of the terms here we are going to use those things. If possible, you just have a look into, because if here anybody is planning to go for GATE exam, so there is one subject called compiler design. So that is some of the questions are covered from that subject also. So here Lexer converts, I told whatever the statement you have written, so that is converted into machine digestible token. So example, if you have written, what is the code, like add, if you have written add 2 comma 3 something, okay, so this should be converted. So because each function it is having some unique number assigned, so that is called opcode. Okay, so all that processing it is taken care, and also 2 and 3. So instead of just directly writing 2 and 3, so it will take the memory location and these numbers will be represented in binary. So all that process is going to happen when it is converting to machine language, machine understandable language. Then you can just see here whatever the statement you have written, it is divided into tokens. Okay, it will split the data into tokens. You can just observe, and each token is sent one by one to the parser. Okay, so the next module from Lexer to the parser. What the parser is going to do? So converts the stream of token and generate the expression. Okay, whatever the tokens it is sent, it is going to take those tokens and it will generate the expression. Okay, so once the expression is formed, then it will be sent to the compiler. So compiler, what it is going to do, convert the expression into PHP opcodes. So that's what I was telling you. Okay, for each whatever you written, like how it will be finally represented in terms of zeros and ones. It is very interesting subject. Okay, but that is not part of ISC students. Maybe the CS students are going to study. So there is one subject called system software. Okay, there is one subject called system software. So that subject teaches you like how, if you have written any statement like add or any other statement, okay, how this will be represented in object code, zeros and ones. Okay, finally this is the output of the all this process. Okay, where the machine can understand this and run this code or this whatever the code you have written. Okay, and finally you will be getting the output. Once again the output is converted back into human readable. Okay, so that is very interesting. It is like one subject I cannot teach you in a single class. If you have remembered assembler, so when I was explaining about software engineering, I told how assembler works. Okay, assembler, it is having two pass. In the first pass, it will scan complete document. It will prepare a symbol table. Okay, and in the second pass, it will convert the code into object code by assigning the values from the symbol table. All that process, if you have remembered, I have explained in the software engineering subject. Okay, if not, you can just go back and check it for how the assembler works. Okay, in the same manner, if you know how assembler works, this diagram, it looks very easy. Okay, so parser converts the stream of token and it will generate the expression, and whatever the expression it is generated by the parser, that will be sent to the compiler. Okay, what the compiler is going to do, convert the expression into PHP codes. Okay, PHP codes, also known as bytecode. Okay, yeah, maybe even you remembered bytecode in Java, similar to that. Okay, and each bytecode or opcode, it is sent to the executor. Okay, it is sent to the executor, where executor safely executes and runs the opcode which generate the HTML. Okay, after execution of the PHP file, so the ultimate output is you are going to get on the browser. Okay, and it will generate the corresponding HTML page as a result. Is it process is easy? So PHP file, first it is going to accept the PHP file, then Lexer, where it is going to divide the PHP code into tokens, and each token is sent to the parser. Parser is going to convert the tokens into expression, and expression is sent to the compiler. Compiler is going to generate the opcode or bytecode, and each opcode and bytecode is sent to the executor. Okay, so executor is going to run the opcode, and finally you will be getting the result in the HTML format. Okay, so if you know or if you understood how JVM works, Java Virtual Machine. Okay, in the same manner, Zend engine also works for PHP. Okay, so Zend engine is a virtual machine that processes, executes PHP file. It also handles memory management. Okay, so whatever here the diagram shows, it's very brief information. Okay, in additional to this, it is also going to have a modules where it is going to manage the memory or handles the memory, garbage collections. Okay, dispatching function calls to modules outside the PHP. So all this all are also included in the Zend engine. Okay, and once the PHP or whatever the opcode it is executed, so it is uh, sent as an output from the Zend engine. So output from the executor is returned and eventually sent back to the requesting browser. Okay, whatever the output you are going to get from executor, that will be rendered into the browser. Okay, whichever the browser that is made a request, for that it is going to render the output. These are clear 6 steps. Okay, you should able to explain how Zend engine works for PHP. So all the 6 steps you need to able to explain. So don't no need to write all this notations, so vehicle, all those things. At least you just write the boxes. Okay, you can just observe at least like this. You just write the boxes and explain the steps. Steps are very important. Okay, this is just given for understanding purpose. And this is like how the particular part, how it is moved, and it is transmitted through transport. Okay, and finally to the destination, something like that. But actually you need to explain how the PHP code is executed. Okay. So next they have given a small introduction like how to install XAMPP. Okay, so depending on which operating system you are going to use, if you are going to use Windows, you need to install XAMPP, or if it is Mac OS, then you have to go for Mac installation package, that is MAMP. Okay, or LAMP if you are using Linux. So is it everybody knows how to install? I think if you don't know, yesterday itself I told you people to go through. Any queries? Okay, so here how to install. So you can just go to this website, that is apachefriends.org. This is an official website, and you will be getting all different versions. So the latest one is 8.07, 0.7. You just download this and you will be able to mm, install this particular software to your Windows system. Okay, depending on which operating system. If you are using Linux, you can just corresponding exe file you can download it. If it is any other operating system, correspondingly you just try to get the software. And here I already downloaded. Let me just go to that. Okay, so I'll just install. It will take few minutes. If anybody don't know, just click on this. Once the software is downloaded, double click on that. Okay, you will be able to execute it. It is taking some time. Okay, it is asking for permission to continue for installation. Okay, so because I have installed the antivirus. Some error message it is giving. Okay, so you can just see what are the programs you can do by installing this. Even you can just go with the Perl, not only PHP. You can go with the Perl. Okay, where you want to store. So I don't want to go for C drive. I'll just change to C. Okay, I'm selecting this. Okay, so now it's ready. Okay, it is installed. Once if you have installed, you will get a you can check once it is installed. Now it is taking some time for installation. Just give me a few minutes. Okay, let it install. By the time I'll go back to the presentation. Okay, so once you have installed, you can just check that by typing localhost in the URL. Okay, if it is installed successfully, you will get this page. Okay, and also once you start executing, if you want to execute any program, so go to this folder wherever you installed in that HTT docs. There you need to save your programs. So either create separate folder or you can just add the programs directly in HTT docs. Okay, so after that, so here we have like a quick tour with respect to PHP. Okay, so how you can start coding using PHP. Okay, maybe just going through these slides you may not understand completely. So we'll do some programs, small programs. So your PHP is like a JavaScript, is dynamically typed language. Okay. So what is the meaning of dynamically typed language? I've already told in the previous class. You just go through that. And also it uses functions. Okay. Most of the times we are going to use functions, loops, conditional statement, assignment, operators. So all different whatever we have learned in JavaScript, similar to that, you are going to learn here. So mainly we are going to focus on arrays, where you are going to write and how you are going to write. So the code, it you are going to write the code in this tags. So that is So PHP, and here you are going to, if you want to display any message, okay, hello world, so that is to display on the screen or the browser. Okay, and also the PHP file extension should be .php. Okay, when you are saving this file, so you need to save it .php. That is the extension is used. Okay, so in case if you are writing any code, the PHP code out of this tag, okay, that will be just echoed directly out to the client. That means it is not going to execute that. So it will be just whatever you typed, it will be just displayed on the browser. So always the PHP code should be written within this tag only. Okay, so you can just observe here. I think before going to this, we go with a simple program. Okay, this is done. Sometimes it requires whenever if you install the, okay, automatically it is started running. So sometimes what happens is you need to restart your system whenever if you installed any software, it will ask for restart. So here there is no issue. Now Apache server is started executing. Okay, it's running. Similarly, if you are using the database MySQL, so that you can run here. Okay, so to check is it my software is installed successfully or not, just go to URL, type localhost. Okay, if it is installed successfully, you will get this page. So next, uh, so where I've installed, go to that folder. So in this, I have my HTTP docs. So here you have to save your program. Okay. So instead of dumping here itself, you better create one folder. You can give any name, PHP examples. Okay. So let's write one small program. Editor, you can use the same editor whatever you used till today. Okay, so I need to locate there itself in HTTP docs. Okay, so name I have given PHP example. Okay, in HTTP docs I have stored. Okay, okay, you can just the extension should be .php. Save it. So whatever the statement you are going to write as a PHP code, it should be within this tag. Okay, so save it and run that program. I think I need to specify the path. What is the folder name I have given? So you have to specify that folder name. PHP example followed by the name of the file. example. What is the file name I have given? What's the program? Okay, so there was a little bit disconnection in the network. Okay, you can see the output. This is the first program. So I've just shown step by step how you can install the software. Okay, XAMPP control panel. Before running any PHP program, it will be once if you have finished, you need to stop running this Apache server and MySQL, and you have to close. Okay, don't directly close. And when you want to execute, you have to open this control panel and you have to start the Apache and MySQL. Then start executing the code. Okay, so now you have done first program. Similarly, you can just go through the basic things. What are the other operations that is supported by? You can just perform some addition of two numbers. In that, I think textbook directly they've given a little bit complicated programs. So we'll just discuss set of programs how you can execute in the tomorrow's class. Okay, so I will try to cover all possible examples, the basic examples in tomorrow's class. Okay, and this is the comment line, how you can go for comment line, either single line or, so a single line you have to go for hash. Okay, multiple line if it is. Okay, for a single line comment, okay, you have to use hash in PHP. See, commenting is also very important in your documentation when you are doing program. So commenting